Welcome, Divine Hearts, and thank you so much for joining us and for being here with us. This week, we have a fascinating guest joining us. She is Kate Alexandra, and Kate has been practicing as a regression facilitator for some years now, and even creating her own technique within this field called quantum bridging. And so we will be delving a little deeper into this today in this conversation. But she has also been undergoing a deeper process of initiation, of change, of transformation over the past few years as she's going through her own journey of soul embodiment, where she is connecting ever more with her ascended aspects, her higher self, her multi-dimensional faceted self, and bringing through these wisdoms, this knowledge, and these indeed incredible teachings that have been coming through too, as she has been communing and connecting with the frequencies of the Hathors, the Venusian frequencies, and also Star Mother consciousness. And so we are very excited to be able to delve much deeper into these areas today with Kate, and to hear more about her experiences, her journey, and also about these incredible teachings that have been coming through for her to share with the world. And so thank you so much, Kate, for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction. Thank you for hosting me.
You are most welcome, and we are very, very grateful. So let's begin with the journey that's brought you, first of all, to Costa Rica, because this is where you're based now, and you refer to this land, this area, as your homeland now, and I'm sure that there are many sort of multi-dimensional meanings to this too for you. But take us on this journey that you have been on that has brought you, first of all, to Costa Rica.
Yeah, absolutely. I do refer to Costa Rica as my homeland, and I felt that frequency. I felt that very much when I first arrived here. As soon as my feet touched the ground, I felt like a familiarity. I felt like I'd been here before. And it's just got a very soft, nurturing energy. I've worked with the flowers, creating flower essences. I used to back in England before I arrived. And it was actually through that consciousness, through the flower queendom, that called me to Costa Rica. I received a few messages, probably starting around 2018 to 2020, which was the year that I came over here. So over those 2 years, I received a few messages through meditation and through the flower essences that this was the place that I needed to be, and that I had a mission here. And that was it. I didn't really get any more details or knowings what exactly I had to do here. But I think there was less about doing and more about just being and attuning to this mother portal. That's really what it feels like. It feels like a higher heart activation. It's a very interesting energy. The people here, the local people, are very, very pure. They have a beautiful innocence to them. And that is really the way that I describe this land, Costa Rica. There's an innocence. It's quite interesting because all the kind of Central American surrounding neighboring countries have had a lot of kind of pyramids and ancient kind of artifacts and things discovered. Costa Rica is kind of an anomaly because it doesn't really have that history. So there's something about timelessness here. There's something about potential. There's something about innocence here. It's almost like it's waiting to be seeded or receive the new consciousness, which I feel very strongly since I arrived here. I have downloaded and channeled all of my teachings, all of, well, I don't call them my teachings, but the teachings that channel through me, they've all come to me since being here. From quantum bridging, which is my regression technique that I've worked with over the years of being here, and also everything else that I'm offering right now, it's all come through this portal, this land energy.
That's so beautiful. And I know there's so many light keepers that have been drawn to that area in particular. So there's many there. So there is this networking, in a sense, this community that's growing there too, of these beautiful high frequencies that's coming there ready, as you say, to seed these things. So I don't know if you've been drawn to working with flowers there too, in your essences as well. And also maybe speak a little bit about, it would be interesting just to hear a little about the transformation, the process that you had to go through to even get there, in a sense, your sort of personal transformation, the portals of fear, I'm sure, that you had to step through, and the trust that you had to have in order to follow this soul calling rather than the personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So absolutely, I have been working with the flower essences, being here. Actually, I tried to bring my flower essences from England, and I did, but they kind of got broken on the journey and things, which I was initially really upset about, but it was obviously to create more space to work with the flowers here, which are completely different. As you can imagine, they're completely different vibrationally, and I found the level of consciousness that comes through the flowers here it's very different. It's been guiding me. I always call the flowers conduits. They're conduits of kind of the angelic realms. And whether it's the veil is thinner over here, being kind of a vortex point, I feel like it's quite similar to somewhere like Sedona in that way. It feels like it's really amplified here. So yes, the communication with the flowers is incredible, and they have been some of the biggest teachers for me, some of the biggest tools that I work with. Vibrational medicines, I would say. So they were actually been kind of very interwoven through my journey of kind of healing, but also opening me up to receive and activate my quantum blueprint, I would say. But yes, the journey getting here was definitely interesting. I had to complete, I would say, certain soul contracts before I kind of got the green light from the universe to come over here. It was actually, we were in lockdown in England, and I had quite a challenging experience and environment that I had to move through in connection to my family. So we kind of came together through that time, that intense time in lockdown. And it was just very interesting, actually. So where I was in England, I don't know if you're familiar with the astrocartography, but the lines that mirror our astrological natal chart. So I was actually on my Saturn line over there, and Saturn being kind of renowned as like the harsh lessons that we need to learn and we need to grow. So I was there on that kind of activating land point. And I was told in meditation one day that as I moved through quite a challenging situation with my family in that time of lockdown, it came to a completion. And I was told in meditation that that contract is done, or at least that translation of that part of the contract is done. and now it is time to book your flight. And it's kind of an interesting story because I had down to the penny, I think, in my bank account, to just buy the flight. So it really was a huge leap of faith. At the same time, I think I was ready to leave. I just was ready to get out of that environment in general. And it just so happened to align with, I think there was a window of a few weeks in between lockdowns. And I just went ahead and booked the flight. I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know why I was coming to Costa Rica. But I think just due to alignment and just my character, I think I just took that leap. And yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it felt so guided getting here, and on my arrival, it was just so synchronistic. So yeah, it was a very, very kind of aligned divine process. But I've been here for 2 years now. It feels like 2 lifetimes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's an inspiration for others always to follow this guidance, really. And these portals of fear are there to assist us to walk through them, in a sense, and to see that there's something completely new and even better through that portal waiting for us. So I'm thrilled for you that you had the courage to do that. And I'm also very excited because you have this incredible retreat that you're building up towards in January of next year, 2023, and it is called the Star Mother Gathering. And so it is going to be an accumulation of everything that you've been going through over the past few years, all these upgrades, these deeper awakenings, this deeper connection with your ascended aspects, and these immense frequencies that you have been working with, these Venusian frequencies, these Hathor frequencies, and the Star Mother consciousness. So speak to us a little bit about maybe how you came to feel these frequencies and how you were able to navigate and start to communicate or receive this incredible information that's been coming through.
Yeah, yes, wow, where to begin? So I have been in communication with the Hathor consciousness, which is an ascended Venusian consciousness. It is a consciousness of stewardship and kind of the archetype of cosmic midwife. This is my understanding, at least. This is the translation that has come through my unique expression. And so this consciousness comes to support humanity in times of transition. And so we're all receiving this support. We're all receiving the activations of the Venusian consciousness, which I see as a bridge. There's many different prophecies actually that speaks about Venus. There's one with Quetzalcoatl prophecy, and the feathered serpent's connection with Venus, and how that was so key at this time of the dawning of the golden age. And so this is definitely kind of parallel to my experience with the Venusian consciousness that started to come in around 2000 and I think 2018, if I'm right. And at first it was quite gentle. It was quite subtle. It would come through when I would offer my physical healings, which I used to facilitate and offer when I lived in London. And then it was actually just June 2022, so the June solstice just gone, that the Hathor consciousness came in really strongly. And this was in a much more tangible way. I actually had a few out-of-body experiences where I was shown different perspectives of this shift right now, the shift of consciousness. as humanity are prepared to hold and ultimately birth this new consciousness, which is connected to everything you shared about, humanity having to move through these portals of fear, which is part of our initiation process. And that word initiation is really fundamental to the Venusian consciousness. It's very connected to kind of the mystery school. Some people might know the mystery school of Ishtar, of Isis, of Magdalene. It is the Venusian consciousness, or at least my understanding, that is preparing the high priestesses or the high priests of New Earth. And so we do have to move through those portals of fear. They are portals of initiation as we move through our own self-initiation process. And that is all to prepare us to hold a new consciousness that is free from fear. We have to move through it, first of all, to be able to realize that there's another way to embody and there's another way to think. So yes, the Venusian consciousness is really about supporting those who are ready, I would say, to step into their self-initiation process, who are ready to step into their embodiment as high priestess, for instance, or high priest, and activate their soul blueprint. This is their quantum blueprint. This is something that is so interwoven through my own journey, as well as we remember what I call our ascended consciousness. And not just remember, but hold it, sustain it, embody it. And I think for me, over the years, as I had these experiences, I've had many out of body experiences, I've had many communications with multidimensional aspects, light consciousness, but it's taken me many years to be able to ground it, I would say, and sustain it, embody it to the point where it becomes a teaching in itself. It becomes wisdom. It's transformed from just experiences which maybe I wasn't able to fully ground or place within a context of my divine purpose, into wisdom. And that is the bridge. This is the Venusian consciousness that allows us to bridge the heavenly aspect of ourselves, of our multidimensional self, into the earthly self. And so everything that I am kind of being prepared to birth, and the templates that are reactivating within my quantum blueprint, are very much all about supporting the star mothers. And the star mothers, who are the star mothers? Well, the star mother is actually within each and every one of us. The star mother codes is something that is stored within our diamond heart, which is our healed heart. It is our heart, the purest form of our heart, when we have gone through those portals of initiation and we've healed, we've alchemized the layers of trauma, of pain, and ultimately protection that we've worn around our heart space. So the star mother is kind of like an ancient future shaman of cosmos and earth combined. The star mother is, I say, she who births new consciousness. Now, the star mother is in with all of us, whether we are masculine or feminine embodiments. It's ultimately the divine mother code. It is it's our mother tongue, or it's our original language that we remember. And it's really just the communication with our soul, how we communicate. It's the downloading and remembering of our truth. So the star mothers are really here right now activating, and it's super cool. It's so exciting to see and witness. I think we're all experiencing it and witnessing it within each other. At least there's a sense, there's an excitement, there's a momentum building as we are being prepared to birth this new consciousness. And so the Star Mother Gathering that I'm hosting and facilitating here in Costa Rica is really this beautiful template of support that is calling out to the Star Mothers who feel this. They don't necessarily understand it, but at least they feel it. They feel that they are being prepared in some way to remember and give birth to a template that is being stored within their soul. And that may be a new modality, that may be a teaching, it may be a physical child who is here to be born without karma, the karma of the old paradigm. It may be that a Star Mother holds a template of land stewardship, or that she is here to establish or build or nurture community. So the translation is different for each and every one of us. But the thing that we are all sensing and feeling is this preparation phase as we're being activated to, yes, give birth and deliver. And it's all about sustainability. That word has really channeled through very strongly this year as I've been receiving these teachings that really started to come in. Flood in is probably an appropriate word. They actually started to flood in over 3 days in August. Actually, it began on the 8/8 portal. So after I journeyed with the Hathors, and they showed me a perspective of Earth as we're beginning to transition into a new paradigm, into a new energetic grid and field. I then was communicated or downloaded with the Diamond Heart teachings, which is very much about the supporting of the Star Mothers. And part of that is my Star Mother gathering over here in Costa Rica, which is going to be from the 27th of January through to the 4th of February. And it's really here to just help us prepare for this new consciousness, to hold it, to sustain it, and to share it through each and every one of our unique expressions with the world, and help activate everybody else. And we're each just triggering and catalyzing each other. And we've all got codes and templates that are here to kind of overlap and play and merge with each other. And it's playful. It's a playful energy. It's a really beautiful thing.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful answer, and really so beautifully shared as well, with all these experiences that you've been going through. That's really, really beautiful. One thing that was coming through there for me was this: you are mentioning the bridge is a symbol that comes through a lot, and the bridging, us being the bridges. And it's just so fascinating, because it's also showing us we're moving into a new way of being, where maybe the old way was to tap into these higher frequencies and move out of them. But this now being an embodiment phase for many of these people who may be watching, and for us, that this is more, again, as you were saying, this really anchoring this consciousness in us, and what this really means. So it's so beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing so much there with us to really think about and feel into. It's beautiful. And I know too that the whale consciousness has been really pivotal in creating all of this as well for you. So share a little bit about those synchronicities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I feel passionately about sharing as well, and trying to ground, I think, into kind of logic in a way, and help people understand the different archetypes of our universe, and how we are all part of these different archetypes, whether we have experienced kind of communication or contact with these different multidimensional aspects. You know, they're all part of each and every one of us. We hold different threads, I like to say, of consciousness, and it's how we embody it and how we weave it together that is unique to our soul template. But the whales came through at the time where I received the Star Mother Gathering. They were actually the collective consciousness that delivered me the template to hold this Star Mother Gathering. They delivered the codes, they delivered the geographical location, which is the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, where the physical whales migrate. And they're going to be in migration. They're migrating now here until about March time. So it's over the time of the Star Mother Gathering. And they are the archetype of wisdom. So it's this beautiful journey of translating all of our experience from this lifetime and all our lifetimes, turning that that knowledge and that experience into wisdom. And for me, that's really the archetype of the whale consciousness, who have again kind of been communicating with me for probably the last 5 years. I would say that they too have this archetypal essence of stewardship as well. They are guardians, I would say, of this new consciousness. And it's quite special because just recently, a friend of mine who also lives in Costa Rica, she sent me a picture just from Facebook or something that somebody had posted on one of their whale boat trips here in Costa Rica, of this baby white whale, which is a miracle whale. And for me, it just filled me with energy when I saw it. It just kind of sent frequency and vibrations through my body, and I really got the message that this is the totem of, or a master key actually, are the words that came through, of birthing new consciousness. So it felt like this kind of amazing kind of interconnected symbol that's just so connected to everything surrounding this template that I'm working with right now. So it's going to be so beautiful, and a lot of the women who I'm connected to, who are kind of coming to the gathering, or at least who are feeling called, are having experiences with the whales. So they'll be having dreams, or the whales will come to them in meditations. And for me, this is really showing us that returning of the wisdom. This is like our original soul wisdom that we're here to embody and here to share with the world. And the whales are just so graceful, and I think they hold that beautiful frequency of ancient future. They feel so ancient, like the ancient shamans of the sea. I actually, when I was beginning to work with them, I do a lot of work with them kind of astrally and also through meditation. They show me a lot to do with portals, and a portal being a gateway or a doorway of transition. Again, so I kind of see a lot of the same themes with my communications with these multidimensional aspects. And so the whales are really helping us move through the portals within our own consciousness as we move from a state of separation, of fear, of fragmentation, of struggle and suffering, through that threshold into peace consciousness, as we remember who we truly are, and we really ground and anchor into that omnipresence. And so if we think about the whales, the physical whales, they're in our oceans. And what are our oceans? But they are the body of the collective consciousness. And so the whales, they kind of monitor and protect and guard these portals that are the portals in which the collective consciousness is traveling through. So a lot of these portals are now being activated within our oceans on a physical collective level, but of course we are, each and every one of us, activating these portals through our emotional body. Yeah, again, as we move through those kind of portals of fear, we are kind of helping and preparing those portals that are manifested physically, energetically in our physical oceans. So it's really beautiful. And the whales definitely are, from my understanding, they're communicating and contacting a lot more people right now who are here to embody this archetype, I would say, a custodian of portals, and a custodian of this new consciousness. I think a lot of people, as I'm speaking more on my social media about whales, a lot of people are reaching out and sharing their experiences with them also, which I just love to hear about.
That is beautiful. And there are words there that are really profound that you said. You were speaking about the ancient future. And I've been watching many of your 21-day challenge on your YouTube channel, and I'll be sharing all your details here below this conversation so people can find you easily. And one of the profound teachings that you bring through is about this ancient future aspect of ourselves, and how this can be so transformative in the way that we perceive and understand, and how we can expand our awareness through this frequency, in a sense. So share a little bit more about this profound teaching.
Yeah. Well, this teaching really taught me. That's how it kind of was translated through something that I share and something that I weave into my videos and my 21 days, for instance. This, for me, was part of my own awakening. It was back in 2017 that I started to see physically with my physical eyes while I was awake. I started to have communication with a higher aspect of my soul. She feels like she is maybe part of the monadic soul, in terms of she is an overseer of a lot of us here, a lot of our fractal family. And this experience, it really changed me forever. I really was living a very different life, very, very different. And the gecko agrees there. And really, I struggled to understand what it meant. I struggled to really ground that experience for many years. But as I kind of healed myself and went through my own journey of healing and peeling back all of my limitations and my false identities, I started to realize that my frequency and my essence started to remind me of her. It started to remind me of this feline-esque, multidimensional light being. She literally appeared in the sky as a pulsating rainbow light face. And she didn't say anything to me in that experience, in that first experience that I had with her, but the kind of telepathic download that I received and just the energy of her presence and the peace, the wisdom that she held, I started to recognize that in myself more and more, maybe when I was in meditation, or when I was in a very kind of relaxed state. And I started to realize that was the teaching of that experience for me. And through my journey, I felt very, very, very called and connected to work with regression techniques. Before I channeled my technique, or the quantum bridging technique, I was actually, I had an experience in meditation myself where I was surrounded by light beings, and they introduced themselves as the oversoul, or the collective consciousness of Dolores Cannon, who many know. She birthed her own amazing and very famous regression technique, which is QHHT. And these beings came through and basically shared that I was part of that mission. And there's so many people on this planet that are part of that mission. So many amazing hypnotherapists and regression facilitators. And so everything started to kind of formulate, and I started to understand why I had these multidimensional experiences that at first did seem very ungrounding. And at first, they probably pulled me out of my human experience. But that was all part of it, right? For me to go through this so I can help other people who also resonate with kind of multidimensionality. Maybe they resonate and identify as a starseed. Maybe they're very psychically open, very sensitive. So this has been my journey, and part of the teaching, the Diamond Heart teaching, that is, I've been prepared to hold and deliver and guide, has been that journey. So I help other people connect to their ascended consciousness. We could call it the future consciousness, if we're looking at it in linear time. But really, this is our soul consciousness. This is our higher consciousness, our multidimensional consciousness. And of course, we have so many different aspects to us. But just really helping people to connect to the most appropriate multidimensional aspects of their ascended consciousness, so that they can understand a bit more of their essence. First of all, it's about recognition and remembering. For me, that was a big part of my alchemy. It was easier for me to release and let go of old identities that were not part of that soul truth. So part of it's obviously just the recognition at first, and just even that in itself is so incredibly healing. And then just guiding people through the next process. So it's like we're going through this remembering, through to accepting our core essence and our multidimensionality, and how we can embody that in a very grounded, human, kind of almost practical way, where we are able to translate this incredible light and incredible consciousness through our human experience, and take people through their journey of embodiment. And that's kind of been the journey that I was taken on. And I laugh because my journey just looked and seemed very abstract and confusing. And the Diamond Heart teachings, the irony is the Diamond Heart teachings is all about organization, in terms of reorganizing our internal, what I call the internal cosmos of self, and how we can, embody all of it in a really graceful, simple way. But I had to go through a very complex, messy, confusing journey, I think, to help me understand the quintessence, and to help me understand the importance of simplicity, actually, because we can get lost in the multidimensionality. Like we're infinite beings, we're infinite souls. We can get lost in that. So how can we translate it into quintessence? How can we embody that with grace?
And it's so powerful too, Kate, because it's again this word initiation, but it's allowing us to open up to, okay, we can call it our future selves, but you're accessing that in the now. And I loved because you did a wonderful conversation with Lauren Galey where you're speaking a lot about this too, and I'll share that interview here as well. But it's extremely powerful because it's the feeling that we will be activating within ourselves of something that is beyond the beliefs and the programs that we've been carrying. So it's a real, tangible feeling. That's a whole activation within itself. That can be a huge quantum activation for somebody to really propel them forward, to integrate, to embody this ascended aspect of themselves and really feel it inside, because it's always our own experience really that is paramount and assists us to really understand what's happening and what's taking place here. So I feel very excited, especially about this, because it's so profound.
Yeah.
It's something, in a sense, it's simple, but it's so profound. This awareness and allowing this consciousness, us, to really feel its way through us, so that we can really, so this is my highest potential. This is what I'm capable of. And so why am I feeling such doubt maybe, or such fear, when actually this is more true? This is the truth of who I am. So she doesn't feel the fear in the future of me. So why am I carrying this fear now? And just speak a little, if you will, about because I know that you've mentioned, especially in one of your videos as well, about doubt being one of your major programs, if we'll say. So speak a little about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. These conversations are so needed, because, as we say, these are the portals that are disguised maybe, but these are the portals that do take us into the higher embodied states of being. This is where we find the gold. And thank you so much for explaining all of that, because it is really about reconnecting to this essence in a way that can reformulate our neocortex. And it is scientific, actually. I actually come from my human family. I come from a big family lineage of doctors. So I do like to always kind of bridge and understand the science to it as well. And so when we're really connecting to and remembering on a regular basis, that essence, that energy of that higher or future self, that ascended self, what we do is we begin to open up pathways, neural pathways in our brain, and that creates new circuitry. That creates new circuitry of consciousness in our mind. And this is how we kind of create our reality, right? It's the neocortex in our brain that is responsible for the creation of our reality. It is part of how we translate kind of our creativity into like thoughts. And so if we're spending time connecting with our kind of future ascended higher consciousness, we're repatterning and reconditioning not just the mind, but the emotional body as well, and the memory, the emotional memory that is stored in our muscles, in our cells, in the physical body, as well as the DNA. So for me, a big program, oh my gosh, the biggest program, one of the biggest programs for me has been self-doubt. And it's been so perfectly interwoven through my human experience. For me, I really had to overcome this in order to find my trust, find my truth, and therefore as well help others attuned to what I call the true north of their soul dial, which is kind of a phrase of the Diamond Heart teachings. It's really all about guiding people into their own true north. And so a lot of people I have conversations with, most of the people that I've worked with, I would say, have this program, this fear-based program of doubt. And we could say, you know, it's one of the core fear programs of our collective. We are almost programmed through society to doubt our intuition. And because I do work with very sensitive or kind of psychically open people, of course, doubt has been experienced in our lives. And so it's something I feel really passionately about. It's something that I definitely battled with for many years, all my life. I would doubt my intuition. I would doubt my downloads. I would doubt even my kind of out of body experiences. Even before I had my psychic awakening, I was very, very sensitive and very, very empathic, very intuitive. I even had some kind of past life Akashic memories come back to me in younger years. And I just believed, to be honest, I believed that I was crazy, losing my mind, insane, whatever we want to label it, which is obviously all perspective anyway. But I suppressed it, and I hid my truth, and I doubted myself. So as I had my awakening, and as I had these very multidimensional experiences, which personally I believe now I had to have to be able to make me trust and believe that this is real, I needed something so almost physical, tangible, because I had that much self-doubt. And, you know, I don't think I would ever really have opened up or explored or shared about it, maybe if I hadn't. So you can see kind of the divinity in all of our journeys and why we've experienced certain things, and just, you know, sharing my journey of doubt and how, you know, it's ongoing. Obviously, you know, especially in these energies, it's like the layers and layers of hidden doubt or hidden fear or whatever it is, that is just stored within the darkest recesses of our DNA. You know, so much of it is ancestral. So that's been a big journey for me, and it continues to be a journey for me. But I definitely feel I have at least access the tools enough, and these perspectives, these expansive perspectives that help me to return to my trust and my truth pretty quickly. So for me now, I would say I experience doubt, and I'm almost immediately, within minutes, able to recognize that it is a program. It is a mental program of an old neural pathway that is just coming up, and I'm able to kind of see it and recognize it, label it, and then not identify with it. And this is really the key that I would say with everybody who's experiencing doubt or any kind of fear program right now, is just remember that these energies right now are illuminations. So they're bringing up the programs, and I think this is the biggest message that people need right now, is see it, feel it, but do not get lost in it and do not identify with it, because this is not your truth. If it is fear-based, it is not your truth. Your truth is peace. Your truth is harmony. Your truth is love. And this is not bypassing in any way. This is seeing the difference between an old mental program and giving power to it, and really anchoring into that old neural pathway, which is anchoring you into an old loop, an old pattern, an old paradigm ultimately, and making that choice to just have a higher perspective of that doubt or that fear, whatever is coming up for you, and just see it for what it is. And in that moment, as we just shift that perspective, and if we can start to connect to kind of a quantum aspect of ourselves, a higher aspect of ourselves, as you said, Lewis, it's so easy to draw a comparison and to see that our truth, our true quintessent state of embodiment is that of a relaxed nervous system where we're not being controlled by that monkey mind. And so I always say there's 2 stages to trauma healing. First of all, yes, acknowledging and seeing the trauma, and doing that inner child work. Absolutely, we cannot miss that step. But then the second step is repatterning the mind, and starting to see where we have been held in a state of, for instance, doubt, and just start to identify the pattern and maybe how it's controlled us, and just recognize it, start to recognize it more and more. And as we do, as we start to label it and identify that as a mental program, we start to detach from it. It starts to just naturally lose its grip, lose its grasp over us. But yes, I work with a lot of people who have definitely held themselves back in many different ways. In all different areas of our lives, doubt can creep in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also it's beautiful, because if we can come full circle in that belief or that program, you're becoming a master of it. So now you are a master of doubt, in a sense. And it makes you so powerful because you are also able to share those teachings, those experiences, full circle, really understand it deeply. So it becomes one of your gifts. So also, again, with everything, there's so many sorts of layers to everything. So all these programs and beliefs that we hold can potentially allows us to become masters of these areas and be of assistance or of service to others, to assist them too, to be able to ascend that program or belief. So it's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And to close, share with us what people, if people were interested to come to you, what offerings that you have available at this time, what services that you have, and how you work with people who would be interested.
Yeah, sure. So I would say definitely stay connected through either my Instagram or my website, because I'm constantly birthing new offerings. My YouTube channel, actually, I've just kind of started in the last few months, and that's something that I feel committed to, sharing videos which are a combination of kind of meditations and just some support to help people through their rebirthing processes. But yes, right now what I have on offer is my Star Mother Gathering, which is almost like, feels like my golden child. It feels like the most potent container. I myself have been completely reborn through giving birth to that container. So everything about my Star Mother Gathering is up on my website. And I'm also working on at the moment a container actually with my husband, who does a lot of beautiful soundscapes and like meditation frequencies. We're working together to create a beautiful container for people who can just receive this sound medicine, and also just receive some guidance from the Diamond Heart teachings connected to the reprogramming of their neural pathways. So how to kind of create and sustain peace consciousness ultimately. So we're going to be announcing that very soon. And that will be announced on my social media and also my website.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Kate, it has been such a joy to connect with you and to be able to delve into all these fascinating topics with you. Thank you so much for being such an open heart and sharing your experiences and your incredible journey with us today. It's been an absolute delight, and we wish you the best. We know it's going to be a huge success and a beautiful experience for anybody who wishes to go on this special retreat with you in Costa Rica. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lois. Thank you. I've so enjoyed it. Sending you so much love.